Hey there, geeks! Adam coming back at you with another edition of Comic Card Crazy. We're getting into another little series here, some bad girl cards. Yes, bad girls were all the rage in the 90s. Whether it was a title that was deserved or not, it certainly moved a lot of books. This time around, we are talking about Vampirella, who many would consider the original bad girl, right? These are some cards from 1995. We'll get into it. But here's the thing, she was around long before this bad girl craze was kicking off, right? Vampirella, late 60s creation, Harris Publications, lots of different magazines. But eventually in the 90s, she's getting a resurgence, right? Vampirella from Harris Comics. And of course, they were promoting all over the place. Wizard was enclosing, mini comics in with their issues. She made the cover of the Bad Girls special, as you can see, as well as was profiled in here. They had all sorts of different, posters to put on your wall. But also, there she is on another cover. I don't believe she ever actually got a solo cover, but, when Bad Girls were called upon, she was going to make it. So, this is interesting for me. I've not read a lot of Vampirella comics. I've read a handful just to get familiar, to see if it was something, was there more to it than just the outfit? Turns out not really, but she did have a lot of cool crossovers with, she or with Shadowhawk or any number. I mean, if you look, Vampirella was definitely popular. People wanted to get a chance to have their character interact with her. She had different looks over the years. There was the traditional, but then she eventually got armored in the late 90s, which is kind of fascinating. So there's a lot to get into here. The 1995, I feel, was like the zenith, right, of Bad Girls and of Vampirella in the consciousness. There was even a movie that was made, a very low-budget, straight-to-cable movie, but it happened. But anyway, I'm very curious about this card, so they make some promises on the package. Let's read it. Let's get into it. All right, so here we are with our pack of Vampirella trading cards by Topps from 1995. Tells us we have 11 super premium cards. Curious to know what that means. But it does also promise, if you look at that little gold circle up there, gold card or chase card in every pack. So we'll find out what that means. I also don't know if there are multiple artists or a single artist. I'm going to guess they got a lot of people involved here. But also it says, Vampirella wants you! Join Vampirella's Scarlet Legion, the official Vampirella fan club. Members receive a quarterly newsletter, membership card, and badge. A poster of Vampirella by Adam Hughes and other exclusive fan club goodies. That's a pretty awesome deal. Although you do have to send $10 in, so they know that you're going for collectible here and you're a devoted fan. All right, well, let's dig in here and find out what secrets this vampire lady has to offer. This is going to be pretty cool. All right. So this first step is very deeply sealed in there. Okay, already we're seeing some skin, which was kind of the name of the game with Vampirella. All right, first off here, wow. Okay, so this is a Joe Quesada image. You can see his signature right there. Joe Quesada, Jimmy Palmiotti collaborating on this. This was featured in Wizard magazine quite a bit. This was a very memorable ad for Vampirella. So what's it going to tell us here? What a splash! This was the cover that launched a phenomenon as Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti depict Vampirella cavorting in a blood-red fountain for the cover of Vengeance of Vampirella #1. Now, this is interesting. 9-Inch Nails take on a whole new meaning as John Stinsman's version of Vampirella stands guard over the grave of her friend Chelsea in Vengeance of Vampirella #7. So they actually just give you like a whole extra bit of art on the back. That's kind of cool. Ooh, check this out. So now we have some classic Vampirella art here. Look at that. Let's find out what's going on with this piece. Slip it out of my hands. It's trying to get away. It's flying away. All right, let's see here. What does this tell us? So an impressive, fully painted diorama presented as a gift to FJA. Who is FJA? Oh, Forrest J. Ackerman, of course, of Famous Monsters fame. So the front says, San Julian's famous painting of Vampirella presented as an outsized playing card on the cover of Vampirella #36. Huh. All right, it says here, I sat down at a mechanical typewriter. It was one hour into Vampirella's origin story when Jim Warren looked over my shoulder, expecting to see something like Frankenstein or Bela Lugosi or King Kong. Copy for famous monsters. What are you doing? He cried. Why, what came naturally? Putting flesh and blood to the bones of my body lass, Vampy. Never having written a comic in my life, I pounded her first spellbinding tale. Wow, so Forrest J. Ackerman created Vampirella? Interesting. All right, let's see what our next piece is here. Yeah, so this looks like this is coming from all eras. Wow, you see a skull in there, giant hand coming out of the shadows. Who's responsible for this one? An enticing Vampirella welcomes you to the contents of Vampirella number 103, beautifully rendered in pencil by Jose Gonzalez. But the front, Vampirella, victim of the past, at the whim of the present. Only the hand of fate can decide her destiny, her dilemma, captured dramatically by the inimitable Enric, was featured on the cover of Vampirella number 1747. Can't quite make that one out. All right, next one here. Oh, another painted image, now in black instead of her traditional red. I'm curious to know what this is about. Okay, so the issue 95 of Eerie teamed guest star Vampirella with the Rook in Star Wars style adventure tale. That's kind of cool. But on the front is a breathtaking pencil rendition of Vampirella by Jose Gonzalez, colorized and currently on display in the Acker Mansion. So Forrest J. Ackerman was hanging on to that one. Very proud of his creation, I guess. All right, next one. Oh, more classic look here for Vampirella. Looks like she's in Paris. What are you doing? Ooh la la, indeed. Front any language, in any language, Vampirella remains positively magnifique. Here she upstages the Eiffel Tower in this beautiful painting by Enric. Now, in the fourth Vampirella novel, Blood Wedding, the evil Count Mordante plans to wed Vampy to chaos. The spellbinding cover by Enric was reprinted from Vampirella number 27. Wow, so this is great. I really thought this was going to be more like modern 90s comic book art, but here we go. So there she is entangled by some type of alien octopus? What does it tell us here? Because of the blood red queen's vengeance, Vampy is left without eyes. Alone and helpless, she is kidnapped by aliens, and you thought you had rough days. All this and more is explained in Starpatch, Quark, and Mother Blitz. Enric captures all the emotion and drama in his painting for the cover of Vampirella number 62. Vampy wonders what new adventures will arise to challenge her on this contents page illustration for Vampirella number 112. This became the last Vampirella issue from Warren Publishing, who at this time that we are covering in 1999 was suing Harris Comics, trying to get the rights back, I guess. All right, now this looks like a familiar art style. Is this Boris or who is this? Let's find out. I'll flip it around here. This is a different style of card now. I used to read Vampirella years ago when it was published by Warren, comments world-famous illustrator Boris Vallejo. Yep. A veteran of countless posters, book covers, and fantasy-related artwork. At that time, Jose Gonzalez illustrated it, and I guess Jose and I have a lot in common. My approach to Vampirella, however, was slightly different than his. Gonzalez rendered her as a sexy but childlike and innocent creature. I wanted her a little bit more savvy, more in total control. She's a very sensual person, and the vampire stuff is really pretty incidental in my painting. So this is New Visions. So is this an original piece of art for this set? Could be. That's neat. Oh, look at this. She is winning out against Dracula, or Dracula is dabbing? I don't know what's happening here. Let's find out. Okay. So, the front. Vampy confronts a cowering Dracula in this painting by Gray Morrow, originally scheduled to be the cover of the trade paperback collection Vampirella vs. the Cult of Chaos. But it wasn't used, I guess? A Gothic fountain serves as a perch for snake-charming Vampirella in Michael William Kaluda's cover for Vampirella Morning in America Book 3. Ah, cool. That is, yeah, that's some Kaluda art I recognize from the Shadow trading card series. All right. Now this, what are we doing here? I believe that is supposed to be Forrest J. Ackerman as some sort of bust being climbed, or, oh, carved. I see, because she's got the little chisel there with the hammer. That's interesting. Okay, let's see what this is about. Late 1968, I receive a long-distance phone call from Jim Warren, the publisher of Famous Monsters of Filmland. Quote, I'm considering starting a comic book about a Maud Witch. What would you call her? Off the top of my head, I suggest Miss Terry? For mystery. Not bad, but no cigar. Doesn't disturb me because I don't smoke anyway. The original Vampirella fan club badge. Vampirella enforced your accurate as a vision by illustration Ron Miller presented to FJA as a gift. Okay, so that's really fun. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is, wow, that's some very demonic looking Vampirella. What's this one about? Front. John K. Snyder III portrays a devilishly macabre Vampirella wreaking havoc on the battlefield in this painting that served as the cover to Vampirella 4. Now a hauntingly pensive Vampirella in the company of her graveyard pals in a watercolor by Kirk Van Wormer. Wow, okay. Now, I got the last card here. I don't know if this is a chase card or what, but it looks like we have some Lilliputian goblins here. She's having a little bit of Gulliver's Travels. Let's see what this is about. Okay. I remember having a bunch of Vampirella magazines back in the early 70s, comments illustrator Eric Peterson, a veteran paperback cover artist, 165 covers and counting, who occasionally does sub for fun things in comics. With this painting, I tried to convey the sense that there's a story behind what's going on, rather than make it just a pin-up, shot of a sexy girl in a bathing suit of a strange style. One of the things I like about Vampirella is that she has potential to be a completely sexist character, but usually manages to overcome that, as opposed to a lot of the superhero women where they're frequently accessory team members and just an excuse to show a woman in a revealing costume. There's a playful spirit of sexuality about Vampy, but she's in charge of the situation. Okay, so I don't know. Which of these was considered a chase card or a gold card? Guess we'll find out. So some very beautiful art, like fantastic renderings of the character all throughout there. And again, it was cool to see them from different eras. And I like the ones that seem to be commissioned for the set. Boris Vallejo, very cool. I think this one was my favorite though, because again, just like seeing her in black, that really just stood out to me. And I love, that circle around behind her is just kind of a classic design. I like that. A very nice set of cards, very well produced by Topps, I have to say, except for the fact that we got ripped off. I didn't see a gold card. I didn't see a chase card in there. I counted 11 cards, so I don't know what's going on. But I did want to say that we do have one more thing that Wizard was involved in. There's a Vengeance of Vampirella half issue, and many more things. I mean, there were trading cards. There were so many little Vampirella extra goodies they were putting in there to promote that series. So, like I said, we're doing bad girls, right? Well, I think there was one bad girl in particular who really defined the era, and that was Lady Death. We gotta open up a pack of Lady Death cards. So stay subscribed here to Wizards, the podcast guide to comics on YouTube. Look out for the next edition of Comic Card Crazy. Of course, you can go over to wizardscomics.com, get over 270 episodes of our main show podcast. But hey, what we got over here on YouTube is unique as well and fun. We've actually just started reading week of release comics. Like, we're giving our reviews. We buy them on Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. Thursdays, we drop a video, Mike and I, telling you what we think, but you get to vote. So if you check out our social media at Wizards Comics across most of the platforms, it's Wizards_comics on Instagram. You can get a chance to put in your 2 cents and vote for which 2 comics of the week you think that we should buy and read. So again, thank you so much for checking out this video, and we'll be back for more. But until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded.